Ging versus Silva. Two of the top tiers in the Hunter x Hunter world fighting, and who would come out alive if these two did have a fight to the death. And today I'll be doing a video discussing who would win between Ging and Silva. Now obviously we know that both of these characters, they are the fathers of the two main characters in Gon and Killua, and similar to Gon and Killua fighting, I do believe that Ging and Silva, they will have a match before the series is over, and there's a little bit of hints on why I believe that'll happen. Number one, we know that both Gon and Killua, they have almost gotten each other killed multiple times. Yes, we know that whether it was Gon or Killua's idea, both of them have almost led into both of them dying, and I think that both of their parents, they won't like that once they do figure that out, and that mainly is for Silva and the Zoldyck family, because we know how important Killua is to the Zoldyck family. They're saying that he's the second coming of Maha. They're saying he's basically like Zeno 2.0. Like Killua, he's been getting the most hype in the Zoldyck family. He's looked at as a prodigy, and if something was to happen to him, man, oh man, the Silva family would be upset. And the same thing does happen and apply to Ging, because even though Ging doesn't show it, he does care for Gon a lot. And I mean, we saw that he sent Gon to Kite when he went to basically after he was done with the Greed Island thing, and he was willing to tell Gon about his mother too. Obviously Gon, he didn't want to hear that. So Ging, he's been showing, even though it may look on the outside that he doesn't care for Gon, deep down he actually really does. And I do believe that after figuring out his safety that has been put into danger because of Killua, that could make him angry along with Silva being angry too. And maybe the Zoldycks, they could actually be hired to assassinate Ging. Now I'm not saying it'll be because of that situation, but we know that Ging, he has made a lot of enemies recently, whether it would be with the Hunter Association, with Parson, with the mercenaries. If you guys are anime only, you are thinking, whoa, Hunter x Hunter has mercenaries? Yes, mercenaries, they are now on the bad side of Ging. So there are a lot of characters who do not like Ging, and we've seen before that the Zoldyck family, they've been called upon to make some huge hits. So who's not to say that they wouldn't have to be hired to fight Ging? Now, these two characters, I do believe that their strength is not too far apart. In fact, I do believe that Silva, he is very underrated when it comes to strength, because this is the head of the Zoldyck family who we're talking about. This isn't some pushover who we're talking about. It's not like this is some fodder. No, no, no. He is Illumi and Killua's father. And we know that he actually did fight with Crollo in the past. And this was huge news because obviously Crollo, he's a top tier. And we saw what Crollo did to the likes of Hisoka. So the fact that Silva was able to escape from their fight pretty much unscathed goes to show you how strong he is. And he also did kill the previous number 4 member of the Phantom Troop. So that just goes to show you that Silva, he is definitely super strong. And probably one of my favorite Silva moments is him one-shotting a Chimera Ant. That was epic to see him take out a Chimera Ant who, they weren't necessarily top tiers, but they were definitely no pushovers either. But there are a couple cons when we are discussing Silva's strength that does make people do believe he's weak. Like the number one thing would be the 2v1 against Crollo. Crollo was able to take on Silva and Zeno with pretty much ease, and we know that they weren't allowed to basically go all out, or at least Zeno wasn't allowed to go all out. But the fact that he was able to take on both of them makes people believe that, oh, Silva isn't that strong and all that stuff. And because Crollo wasn't necessarily paying attention to him, no, it's not that he wasn't paying attention to him, it's just Crollo and Silva, they don't have a relationship where they can talk as friendly as Zeno and Crollo do, because Zeno and Crollo, they have no beef whatsoever. It was mainly a situation where they had to kill him, so that's why they were trying to do the job. But with Zeno with Silva and Crollo, they have some deep beef, so that's why they weren't talking like that during the whole battle. And we also do know that whenever the Zoldyck family, they do compare Killua to somebody, like whenever they try to hype up Killua, they never really use Silva's name. They use people like Zeno or Maha or people above Zeno. So the fact that Silva isn't a reference in the Zoldyck family does make people believe that Silva isn't that strong. And speaking of strength, Ging, he definitely does have a lot of accomplishment that does hype up his strength, because we know that he's a member of the Zodiacs, and that alone is just hype, because the Zodiacs, they are some of the people who sparred with Netero, survived, earned his respect, and got a title of the Zodiac. And we know that he's one of the top 5 Nen users according to Netero. So the fact that Netero himself has respected Ging that much goes to show you how strong he is. And we know that he can also copy and master Nen abilities like it's nothing, and he hasn't even shown his true Nen ability. That's what makes him so strong. However, there are still some cons when it comes to Jing's strength as well. We know that Ging, he has never been to the Dark Continent, and in fact, you need to be qualified to go to the Dark Continent. So that led a lot of people to think that, is Ging too weak to go to the Dark Continent? And we know that he wasn't called on for Netero when it came to the Chimera Ants, and he went to the Zoldycks instead of going to the Zodiacs. So that goes to show you that Netero, even though he did hype up the Zodiacs, he has a lot of like deeply respect for the Zoldyck family. He's known them forever. And we also know that he didn't really overpower the specialist group that Parison brought out. And this is a little spoiler if you're anime only, but obviously Ging, he does become the head of Parison's little specialist group, but it wasn't because he beat them or anything. No. It was because he basically outsmarted them, and he was buying them out. He was using money. We saw that Ging, he was basically like, yo, anybody who agrees to join me, you'll get, I believe it was $10 million. And obviously we had some characters that had like six sick family members. So Ging, he didn't necessarily beat all the specialists in that group. And in fact, Ging actually didn't want to fight them, because we saw Parison, he tried to trick them. He was like, yo, attack them, they're all just enhancers and all that stuff. And Ging was like, no, I'm not stupid, these guys are all specialists, I'm not going to fight them. But at the same time, he did display that his Nen is a little bit more advanced than all of them, but he just can't beat them all at once. So Ging, it's not like he's some all-power being. He knows his limits by himself. But I do believe that if these two characters did fight, it would lead in Silva losing. Yes, I do believe that Silva, he would be the one to die if they did fight. And I'm not saying that that's because Ging is massively stronger than him. No. I think it's for numerous reasons. Number one, Ging, his strength is, I think that he's stronger than Silva just by a little bit. And that's because Silva, he's an assassin, which means that while he is trained to kill, he's not necessarily training constantly. Whereas we know Ging is a hunter. He's always on the explore. He's always exploring new places, new dangerous places. Hell, he's trying to go to the Dark Continent. Like, put this in perspective. While Ging is off going to the Dark Continent, Silva's just sitting back chilling with Mike, you know, not doing anything. Maybe getting a couple assassination jobs here and there. But no, in all seriousness, Ging, he definitely does have to keep on honing his strength. And that's why I do think he will have the slight edge over Silva. And me personally, I believe that Ging, he is just way more important to the story than Silva. Yes, I do believe that Ging, he is somebody that can't be replaced, whereas Silva, if he was to die, he'll be replaced by somebody like Zeno, Illumi, Killua. You know, there's some people who could take the head of the Zoldyck family, but Ging is a very important hunter. He's one of the most accomplished hunters in the whole series. He's a member of the Zodiac, so a character like him can't just die off compared to somebody like Silva, which is why I do believe that Ging, if Silva and him did fight, Ging would end up winning. But overall, that's basically it for this little video discussing Ging versus Silva. Who do you guys would think will win in the comment section down below? Leave the comments telling me who will win between these top tier fathers. Comment what you guys see down below. Subscribe if you haven't. Peace out.